Good evening, viewers. Welcome to another special edition of the State of Affairs. With me in the studio, sitting in for allocation, the host, as always the co-host, but sitting in to host the show with my wonderful nephew, Eso Nyase. Eso, welcome to State of Affairs.
Thank you, and good evening.
Thank you very much, Eso, and then we say Eid Mubarak to all our wonderful viewers, listeners across the world. We are back again with State of Affairs after the Tubaski break. With me in the studio, we have the Honorable Governor of West Coast, Honorable Usman Bojang. Before we introduce Mr. Bojang, we must commend him and thank him for taking his time to join us for the first time to have a regional governor on this platform. Few years ago, when we started this State of Affairs and other programs here on current affairs, we've always tried to get a sitting governor to come and talk to us, because I believe the bottom-top approach. And now that I'm blessed to have my brother, who is from Brufut, I understand the Brikama was accident. Governor, welcome to State of Affairs.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Let's start. What is the role of a district governor?
You mean a regional governor?
Yes.
Okay. The role of the regional governor is representing the president at that regional level, sitting as the head of government affairs there. And when you say government affairs, it means all government affairs in that region, including all the district chiefs, the alcaldes, they are all under that. The area council is actually under that. So the governor supervisors have a supervisory role in a sense of the area councils.
Thank you. Is this well defined in as far as your role is concerned?
Yes, I am new in the role, as you clearly know, but it is well defined. As I am learning the ropes, I am realizing that as defined as it could be, there are a lot of loops that one have to learn as you go through. Because remember, this is more of an executive position, and sitting there dealing with all other government entities, a lot of things will just come your way. And this includes even the NGOs there. So it's not just something that you just sit in class and learn. It's something that you'll have to learn as you go through it. But the reality is, if you look at what we have, I think it's well defined.
Thank you. Quickly before Eso comes here, you've been here for a few weeks now.
That's correct.
What have been your initial evaluation so far?
I'm still doing my evaluation, so it might be, I might have to jump ship if I have to tell you everything, but because some of them might not be conclusive yet. Human being, you have your perception. And when you take a new job, you do your assessment. And coming from a health background, we do your assessment, your evaluation, then you do your implementation. And this is how planning all goes. So however, my assessment as it is, I am seeing a lot of areas that the role of the governor can be a little bit more engaged with the local authorities, because the presence have to be felt, and the role of the executive have to be well understood. And in that case, then you'll have a better relationship with the people working under you. And that comes to the fact that it has to be in a way that there have to be enough capacity. And I know, we all know, in most of our settings here, capacity is a challenge. This is one of the few places that even if you let a bricklayer lay your bricks, or a carpenter, you still have to inspect what you expect. And if you have to do that at the executive level, and you feel how the presidency does, how other portfolios do, then you realize that this also have to be under the same role. You have to be able to have that capacity around you to be able to know everything that is going on in your region. As the governor, from deaths in the hospital, you have to have those reports, from accidents in your area, from child abuses, everything that is there, that is going on, in your society, you have to know about it. So that takes a lot of capacity to get that to your desk on daily basis.
Thank you very much. Eso?
Talking about relationships and having or getting to know about everything happening in your region, how is your relationship like with the council, the alcaldes, and the CFOs as well, especially in terms of work?
Yes, this is one of the good things that I have started to feel. I feel very, very welcome, especially by the council, the chiefs, the alcaldes. I have met the council because I had a relationship with them before. I just did not just come to be a governor, just one day becoming a governor. I had a lot of other initiatives that I've actually approached both past two sitting governors in West Coast and the area council. I am a native of Brikama and, you know, not from Brufut as some people might.
Okay. All right.
But in reality, I have relationship with them. So, and it has always been this development agenda, societal issues where we have challenges. You know, coming from a different angle, I have had these issues, I've seen them. So I've actually tried to engage them. So coming to them today, like I told them when I met with them, you know, I feel home. You know, not home just as in Brikama, but home with a team that I think we can develop, we can trust. I have a good meeting with the council. They had a courtesy call yesterday, and that was very good. And I had the chiefs. I have been having them very frequently. The alcaldes, the same thing, because I have a goal, and that couldn't be better done without them. So they are my partners, and I'm just so thrilled to be part of that team today. And I'm very, very hopeful with the right approach and the right leadership, we'll definitely go very far.
Let me press you a little further on this. How does your office of the governor, work with the council, the chiefs, and even the alcalde to ensure that people get to enjoy its services?
Yes, I mean, I would answer it without feeling pressed from you. But one thing I can tell you is, like I told you earlier, you know, that supervisory role, you know, it has to be engaged. But most importantly, it has to be in a relationship that you are able to know exactly, to be in the know of what they are doing. And then the council have a plan, and their plans are mostly geared exactly complementing the National Development Plan. So when it comes to that local level, that's where their roles are. However, if you look at what is coming nationally, from whatever may be coming from the central government to enhance people's life, to change people's life for the better, where they cannot be reached or they can't reach, the area council have the role to get in there. When it comes to the chiefs and the alcaldes, remember every village, every one of us come from the alcaldes, a village that is led by an alcalde. So in actual fact, what this does is it helps you to be able to have everybody in the same boat at the same time. The alcaldes report to the chiefs and the chiefs report to the governors. But the council also have a chief representative into the council who in actual fact also work with them for any developmental issues. So there is definitely a good approach to connections. How
it's a
to make sure.
well-established system.
Yes, you know, but like I said, how to make sure we check in the checkers. And that's the only way this could be done. It's not like there is no systems or, I mean, nothing in place. We already have good ideas in place. It's just a matter of actually pressing to make sure you get done what is expected of you.
Thank you very much, Eso. Coming back to Governor, is the local government or the local government in the Gambia adequately supported by institutional legal framework and also in terms of funding as well for you, how would you see as far as the
when you say legal framework?
When we have seen the local government act, for example, of 2004, 2006, 2007, the amendment, we've seen based on the 1997 Constitution, Section 193, 194, 214. These are all have given powers to the local authorities and
Yes,
stuff. What would you say? And you think they're adequately, been supported as far as the legal framework is concerned?
Yes, they are. Because remember, the Office of the Attorney General does a lot of support for these local governments at that regional level and at that district level. And as a matter of fact, one of the things we are doing right now is to engage them in even a training for the alcalos, because there have been a lot of changes since the last time some people actually got trained or to know what to do. And if you look at the cream of the Attorney General's office, there is a lot that could be done. I can tell you there is a lot of talk, and hopefully with all these, we have a lot of capacity building going on around this country. And I'm sure one of the areas that as a governor that I am looking at is the possibility of approaching them to have a legal office within the regional governor's office. Because in this case, the governor's office would hardly make a mistake in legally doing anything, just like it is at the executive level.
That is important.
So that's something I have actually, off the record, approached a few people within the system, and these are the things hopefully we will get there.
Oh, thank you. Now that you've talked about one of the challenges that you would like to have a legal office in your office, but let's look broadly as far as West Coast is concerned. What are the challenges of West Coast?
The challenges of West Coast are huge. The fact that it's the largest, nonetheless, is not insurmountable. If you look at the region, everybody wants to live in the West Coast. So that's a challenge. And we have a population that we have to really look after. However, the most challenge we have, that I think everybody knows, and which I got it exactly from the president, because this man can vouch that, he's one person who, when he became the president, have never taken a land, even from the Bushwood folks, moreover anyone else, But land issue is one of the challenges we have. If you look at our land tenure system, there is a lot desired for. However, if you look at our allocation systems, there is a lot more desired for. So that's a very big challenge, and I have already been seriously engaged in that. And I am hopeful. I have the support of the executive in this, and we are coming up with a team of including the chiefs, the alcalos, we will be able to come up with a good system that is going to be systematic. Not just any alcalo doing what they wish to do, having different forms. There is no harmonization of the forms. There is no serialization of the forms.
Quickly, when you talk about forms, what sort of forms do you mean here?
The allocation forms.
For
land allocation.
Every land allocation in this country starts from the alcalo.
Yes.
It doesn't matter where it is. So in this case, those alcalo forms need to be the same everywhere. And most importantly, those forms have to be harmonized with exactly what the law says and what the system requires. But if alcalos are doing different forms, and they are not trained, like I said, you would see an alcalo sit in their home, see these sells a land to me, and then I'll see and I will just go to the alcalo, and the alcalo will just take a form and stamp it without actually verifying the land location. Then 1-2 months later, or even a year later, the same city will bring somebody else to buy the same land.
Yeah.
So you will see that, and then what would happen is every village, every alcalo, we are advocating for, and that's the route hopefully we will go to, is to make sure every alcalo, every village have a committee that actually eyeballs an actual land before stamping and signing on any documentation. And like I said, where the training comes, you'll see an alcalo put 60 by 60, but they may not know 60 by 60. You've seen alcalos put 12 acres or 50 acres when they actually meant 50 meters. So if I am sold 3-acre or 50-acre, and then I have two of you, your land might actually be on that in that 50-acre. And then 2-3 years you come, I'm like, no, I have documentation to show 50 by 50 acres, and guess what? Yours is in mine. So these are some of the issues that are coming up, and hopefully with their help and with the right leadership, we would be able not to eradicate right away, but we can have a goal, and I'm sure we will definitely get somewhere.
I mean, we've seen instances where some alcalos were in fit state physically to be very involved in verifying what you just said, the land and all. You're talking about a committee here. How are you going to constitute this committee?
I would let them be the ones to come up with this, because they have to be involved in this. But every village have village development committees, and every village have council of elders, and they have cabildos. You know, you have to respect the traditional systems we have. We have very good traditional systems that we can use as a ladder to get to where we are going. You know, yes, and what you said about some of the alcalos, that's a big issue, and I can assure you, with that, in a year or so, or far less than that, if we talk again, you'll probably realize that's normal.
So, I mean, you're going to send them on retirement?
Whoever needs to be retired will be retired, but alcalos have a role, and their role is very, very significant in this society, you know. But if legally, if you are incapacitated, you cannot be an alcalo. So, and then we have those issues. We have some villages that I heard of. I don't think I have any in West Coast yet. I am still going through my alcalos, and I'm coming to know all of them. And yes, but I understand there are some even alcalos in this country that don't even live in the country. And their responsibilities.
They don't live in the Gambia?
Yeah, I mean, you have seen, you'll be surprised, you know.
That's serious.
So there are a lot of things we need to work on, but it has to come from that level of the village. We have to respect what the villages have, and this government is ensuring that any alcaloship goes through the same traditional alcaloship taking that it has always had. It's not going to enforce anybody on any society or in any village or in any town, but the rate is we still have to follow legally who could be and who couldn't be.
Thank you.
This initiative, this thing about harmonizing these forms and trying to address these land allocation issues, I mean, I think it's very important. And I commend you for that. But one important stakeholder I did not hear you mention is the physical planning. Department of Physical Planning.
I know you are going to say. The physical planning is very involved. But remember, land allocation happens before it gets to the physical planning. And this is why we've been talking about the base and not yet to that level. Yes, land and physical planning comes into play. The chief's office comes into play. The area council comes into play. All these are partners before getting the whole application form completed. Could it be more seamless? Probably so. And this is where our assessment is still at. But we are hoping that we will be able to have a more seamless approach. It may not be the fastest, because land allocation, you have to make sure, you know, you're doing the right thing. You can't go wrong. And then if you have to guess whether this was the same area that you've given to Paul, that you're selling now to Peter, you better make sure you're doing the right thing, because the moment they all have legal papers, it's difficult to say, okay, we just sit at the courts. That may drag, depending on whatever we have, for some time. And that's not going to help our cohesiveness when it comes to our society.
There's a lot been talked about decentralization. I think this seems to be the mantra from the Second Republic to date. The current trend of decentralization, we've seen the political trend, administrative trend. All this will be difficult to be achieved without money, without the physical cost in helping the local authorities go through this process. How do you see this happening anytime soon?
One thing that I was very, very surprised about getting into that office was how decentralized we are actually getting. I think you need to probably look more into that. You'll be surprised to know that almost every ministry have a decentralized area in those governors' offices. I was very surprised about that. From youth and sports to gender, agriculture, the same thing. So it's not like we were talking about earlier. We have good ideas in place, and trying to put them through is what this government is pushing for, and I can see it coming. I feel it, and being part of it, you can actually feel that this is where we are going. This morning, I was talking to the GMA, the Gambia Maritime Administration. They have an office by Battle Harding Highway. I was actually surprised they have an office location in the governor's office. Exactly. So this tells you it is coming. Is it coming fast enough? Maybe not. And like you said, finances, but that's something we let the finance people tell us, how fast some of this money can be there. But I can tell you it is coming.
Thank you. So?
Yeah, in terms of development as well and planning as well, how is it like in the region?
Development and planning, we have our strategic plan. The area council have a plan. We have a national development plan. And I think they'll complement one another a lot. And we will definitely be looking more into what's out there, because I know that right now with the government, there has a lot of planning that is coming, or a lot of projects that are coming. When you look at our road projects, when you look at the fishing industry, the environment, the president have an agenda, and that agenda is coming. And West Coast is one of the beneficiaries, if probably not the most beneficiary for some of these things. So I am very, very hopeful that we'll be able to get there. But as it is, at this stage, I'm still trying to get my feet wet on that, and then get more information on where we are going and how much we can go at a particular time.
Siri asked about challenges. You only mentioned land allocation. What other challenges do we have in the region?
I have one of the other things that is significantly affecting our region is if you look at our seaside, you look at our sand mining, the environment, that this is coming. That's a very, very significant thing. And then when I sat with the president taking this job, this is also one of his areas he really wanted to see how best we could. And I've already started that. I have an engagement with the Ministry of Environment. And then we look at all these areas, see how best we could. I know we are, as a leader, you can say how difficult it is, knowing how our houses are being built. Where else do we have sand? We depend on this salted sand, and it's unfortunate. So I think this is where private investors can come in. There have to be a lot of other ways that we can build without having to dig this much of our sea area to be able to build a house. But, like you said, there have to be some things. It's a give and take. Yeah. But unfortunately, if you look at what's going on globally, with the climate changes and other stuff, is this route we want to go? I will leave that with the climate experts, but I think as a governor, I can tell this is a concern that the president have, and this is something that I think we'll work on it and see how best we can tackle that. There are other challenges that I would probably tell you, and I have this discussion. Recently, it has bothered me a lot. I know it has a lot to do with the children, but when I drive around and I see how young children are outside at night, or how they probably don't even have a place. We are talking with, I have this forum that I'm involved in to see, at night time, especially on feast days, our kids have no places to go to. These are things that we have to look into. When some of us were growing up, we had places to go to, for homework. You can even sit somewhere for homework or meet with somebody somewhere. But now if you look at how much everybody is grabbing for land and for more prime location areas, these are things that, it bothers me to see where we are going.
You need recreational centers.
Exactly.
In the region.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Governor. And so, local economy development. You talked about the sand mining, but we know there are other venues and there are other things that also are in West Coast I think I can say West Coast is one of the richest regions in the Gambia.
Supposedly, yes.
Yes. So, but are we maximizing on that? I mean, is the local authority sitting in West Coast tapping the right resources?
Most of these coastal towns are in this
You know, that depends on who you talk to.
Yes.
But if you look at it, I think there's a lot more that can be done that we can tap into. And the West Coast have a lot to offer. I know we all feel like this is the West Coast. I mean, everybody lives in the West Coast. There is nobody in this country who, if they don't live here, they want to live here. you know, my mom is born in the West Coast, lives in Farafenni, and nowadays, you know, if she comes here, she doesn't want to go back. So, I mean, that's why it's called West Coast. It's a different place. Yes, but if you look at what other things we can tap into, I feel like there's a lot we can tap into. If you give me the opportunity, I'll build roads and then make sure everybody who goes through the West Coast pays a tax to go through West Coast. So, but these are things that, you know, you envision. Mm-hmm. But hopefully, you know, but I look at it. I look at our collection systems. I look at what could be done. You know, I feel like there is so much to do. If you look at the West Coast, people think, yes, West Coast have a lot, they have a lot of money. They could have a lot of money, yes. But there are few constraints at times that they also have that unless you actually get involved, you would not know. If you look at the West Coast, a property in Brikama, the same property is going to value 10, 15 times tax-wise in another region like KMC or Banjul. So yes, as big as it is, a property in Brikama might be paying $150, $200 a year. The same property is paying $5,000, $10,000 in the other regions. So there is a big gap, you know.
Is it not by time that we start looking at that?
We are doing that. We have already engaged the lands and survey because that depends on evaluation of a place. I have seen in this country where, you know, let's say you try to get a fire insurance for your home. You know, we get private evaluators. They come, they tell you how much your house is worth. And at times, even insurance company would tell you, you tell me how much your house is worth. So valuation processes have not been in place. West Coast or this country have not had an actual valuation of properties since 2005. You know, so since 2005, how many properties have put in story buildings? How many lands have developed that were just land? You know, so yes, there is this, but I can tell you, we are on it, and then inshallah, we'll get a different story to tell in a year or two, looking at how much revenue we can definitely collect.
Quickly, when you talk about accidents, many do happen in West Coast. So you're aware of that. As the new regional governor of West Coast, have you had, I know it's quite new, you've been there for a few weeks. What plans do you have to engage the body like the National Road Authority or the police and also other stakeholders, the transport authorities, and see, you know, there is anything that can be done to reduce that fatality on roads as far as West Coast is concerned?
Road accidents is huge. The only reason why we have more road accidents in the West Coast than other regions, I'm sure we have more cars in the West Coast than other regions. So you have to get that statistics right first to assume 30 accidents in West Coast in 2-3 months. 3-4 accidents in North Bank might also come to almost the same thing. If you look at the population, you have to have that actual statistics to give that variable to make sure what you are saying is a fact. Yes, we have a lot of fatal accidents. And this morning, I was very impressed. I have a young man, I couldn't recall the name of, who just came into my office because they have this, how do you call it, volunteer organization they are doing about, and all that they want to do is to control road accidents. A very young man, and I was very impressed. Yes, and in fact, I gave him my numbers. I told him to get in touch because I was just about to leave at that time. But just to show him that, you know, this is something that we are all looking at. We are all victims of these road accidents. It's scary, you know, how, if you see what goes on around, could it be better? I am sure it could be better. I know I have engaged with you and others, including the Transportation Authority, even before today. So if anything, we have a platform. and we just have to talk about it, but we have to engage all stakeholders. If you remember when I was approached about having a march from Westfield with shirts on to raise awareness, I clearly told you, I think we don't need to do that. Let's bring all the stakeholders to the table, talk, and you see how much that has yielded. So this is this type of stuff I think we need to do more. We need to talk more about it, because I can tell you, no parent want to be in these road accidents. No police want to be called to road accidents. Everybody have something to lose when a road accident happens. You know, if you look at our cars, we have all these vehicles on the road that at times you see on the road, you know, they are not fit to be on that road. You know, but what can you do? I have no idea. But I think when you have all these stakeholders, we can all come in. It may have to be a fact that we may even have to come with new laws. And whatever it takes, but we need to work on that. And it's worrisome if you see we are all looking forward to bigger roads coming, but with what we have today, you know, you'll be worried if bigger roads come, you know, because how many times you drive and you see somebody coming on the wrong side of the road with you. I mean, if the roads are bigger, people with speed, they'll be uncontrollable. So hopefully we'll get there, but I am very, very hopeful as a society, and this is not just as a governor, but as somebody who lives in the society where we see all these things, and coming from a health background, I think there is a lot desired for, and I'm sure we'll get there together.
Thank you very much, Honorable Governor. We'll go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue. Thank you so much.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and RIA just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from RIA directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any QMoney agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, QPower, and other QMoney services. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Calpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. You're following QTV. State of Affairs. Our guest this evening is Honorable Governor West Coast, Mr. Usman Bojang. So?
Yes. I was going to ask about security in the region. What are you doing, or what do you intend to do to work with, you know, to ensure, stakeholders to ensure that security is strengthened, you know, within the region as well? I mean, your region is one quite lucky region. You have an army barracks in your region. You have the police training school in your region. Exactly. Anti-crime is now based in your region.
That's correct.
Yes. Yes.
You know, West Coast, we are very lucky to have this, like you just said, we have all these. But remember, we have other places who have army barracks too. So I'm not going to take that one lightly. But yes, we are very, very lucky. I have met with the security chiefs yesterday, all security chiefs in the region. And I don't know how much statistics you guys may have, but I can tell you with the report I'm getting, I was very, very impressed. I think they are doing very well. They have this team of all security in the region, and they are not working in solo. They are actually all working together. If you call the commissioner of police, who happen to be Party Jalo, you know, you can call him on a drug case. He's not going to tell you, call the drug squad. If you call the drug squad on a case that involves information, they're not going to tell you, call the SIS. Yeah. You know, these people, they are working so much in cohesiveness that it's so easy for me to
And that reminds me, the SIS too have a school in your region.
Yes. And we have the forest as well.
Exactly.
So yes. West Coast is loaded.
West Coast is loaded. Yeah. And I keep telling people this. This is one of the things that I actually intend to do as I get my feet wet. I am trying to tap into a lot of people who actually live in West Coast. They don't have to be working for the government, but they could also be working for the government. There are a lot of people who have a lot at stake in the West Coast. You might just be a professor at the UTG, but you have ideas that West Coast can benefit from. True. The area council, that chief in your area can benefit from. I want to bring them on board. We're going to have a team of different teams that would be able to have either going to be monthly on an advisory role, but most importantly, on a reaching out role. Because you have people who are experts, you know, like I have this guy, I mean, my own brother, Fode Boja, who forestry-wise, he is an expert. I have Dr. Jete, you know, environmental, Malanding, you know, who these people there, and they are sitting there. They are doing other things, yes, in their own domain, but these are people one can tap into. And if you come into this role, how you bring all these people in to be able to hear them, you know, I think we can learn a lot, and we can have much greater impact in our society where everybody's involved in that decision making than just sitting there as the governor having a flag flying, thinking you have everything in your head. You don't. So West Coast is huge. Everybody lives in West Coast. Everybody. So if you live there too, we may end up increasing your taxes.
I live in Canberra from West Coast.
When you talk about the challenges, I think one of the things that I thought you would at least throw on us, you just talk about environment. West Coast is one of the areas that when it comes to litter, it's very littered.
Yes.
Illegal, commercial dumping of waste, household waste is very littered. And I'm so, as you go to your office every day, you ask yourself, what's going on here? I do. I mean, yes, what plans are afoot to see a cleaner West Coast? We need it.
Okay. In Africa, I think one of the cleaners that we all think of, we all keep talking about, is Rwanda.
Yeah.
You look at Kigali and other cities. I have never been lucky to go there. But when I came into this role, I wanted to learn how they do stuff. And I have already indirectly been reached out to, already to the government, the local government, to see how they do stuff, how they get there. We want to learn the Pan-African way, if you may allow me, But yes, it is very disheartening. I know that one of the things I feel is the attitudinal issues we have. How many times do you drive by and you see somebody have a can of drink or water bottle and they just throw it, and then I get obsessed with it. I will horn until the vehicle driver knows I wasn't happy that what just happened. And then you drive by our forest, then you see, like you said, commercial dumps, and how do we get this corrected? I know forests have some area to do there, but do they have the capacity? Area council have a lot to do there. Do they have the capacity? And most important, do we have the know-how?
I think it's the know-how.
I would think so. And then I think we have to, because if you look at it, we don't manage garbage here. We don't. We collect, and then you have people who actually pay less to have their garbage collected, and then they would go, they don't even care where it is dumped. If I am paying for a garbage collector, I want to know where you're dumping my garbage.
Yeah, I don't want to jump in. You talk about Rwanda. I've not been there, but I've looked at one of the measures that was very successful is recycling. I know I don't want to preempt, your program, your activities that you may get involved. And I know you've lived in America for many, many years. The success of recycling, is that something that you, as a regional governor, be engaging the local authority, the council? And let me say this for public knowledge, that the former Minister of Environment was living in West Coast, and the West Coast continued to be littered. And now we have another Minister of Environment living in West Coast. Hopefully this time round, it will be a cleaner West Coast.
This region is loaded.
That's the good thing about West Coast. Everybody lives in West Coast. I tease other people who even work out of here, like other governors. They still live in the West Coast because they all have residences here. So welcome to the West Coast. Yes. But that being said, yes, you are right. If you look at the recycling, I am a big-time recycler. I have always had in my home a blue trash can and a regular trash can. I do because where I've been for the past 30 years before here, recycling is a big thing. And we don't take it lightly. is very good for the environment, but most importantly, is the best way out to deal with these things, especially plastic, paper, and other stuff. But that being said, that is why I said we want to look at best practices and see how best we can fit them in with what we have. You have all these area councils. They are collecting garbage. They're collecting trash. They're not even able to collect trash all over. West Coast is so huge. Unfortunately, human being, the more people live in an environment, the more trash they will accumulate. So it's not just by accident. But it's not an excuse. I think we should exactly.
You are from a bigger city than West Coast.
Exactly.
In
So
Maryland,
it's not an excuse.
Yes.
But this is why we have to learn the best practices. And then
Can we say the best practice here, Governor, is not managing waste? It's not a question of we are producing more waste. Other cities are having 10 times more tons in millions than us.
Yes.
The question I have is we are not managing waste.
Yes.
It's waste management that is the problem. We don't seem to understand.
I can agree more with you on that. Waste management is different from waste collection. And this is what I said. They all collect waste, but what do we do after? Because burning it is not the way out. Putting it in one place and leaving it there, expecting it to rot is not the best way out either. There are a lot of things that can be done with this waste. And I'm sure if we look around, we see how other people are doing it, we may be able to get some more benefit out of this waste than anything else. If you look at the most recent how do you call it, this medical waste project that's been opened in Farato.
I mean, that too is in West Coast.
This is why it's called West Coast. I was there when that foundation stone was being laid just about a year or so ago. And then I was there again at a different capacity to see this being done. Because I have operated a clinic here before with some folks. And then we do struggle to dispose of our used syringes and other medical waste. I have gone to Serakunda when they would tell me the incinerator was not working properly, or it's not. Then you go to Bundun, the same thing. So to have this is massive for this government, but it's very, very healthy for us. And remember, this waste can actually be reused for some other things. So this is the route to go. That's the management of it. So if we can do it medically, I am sure, with this leadership, I believe we will definitely be able to get there. It's not going to be a one-day thing, but I am very, very hopeful that we will.
So?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask about whether he's also doing, anything to work with, the members of the private sector, private business owners as well in the region, possibly partnering with council as well, even government at that level, at the level of the region.
I have not got that far yet. I have been well received by the business community, and they are the drivers of our economy, and I have met some of them, but more of a welcoming area. But mostly coming from a private industry myself, I know there is a lot we can do together, and yes, they will all be engaged. When it comes to how to engage with the council, with the other parts, this is something we'll have to talk about, because everybody have their own expertise in different areas and how they can be useful. Because especially local government, people need to know that it's not, yes, they have few people who are in those positions to run the office, but they have to be accountable for the people who are actually paying those taxes. And if you are a private sector with a business, you probably pay more tax than CD, who doesn't have any of his business in the West Coast. But you realize this thing. This is where we come in and then say, you know what, let's all come together and do something. There may be a lot of ways to have private sector get involved. And I am sure if they have the right environment, they have the right leadership, they will follow suit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Governor. When you come to the OIC project, I think I can probably say 50% of the OIC funds is in West Coast.
Only 50. I was going to take off my head more than that. But
Yeah,
I think 50 is being too generous.
Okay. Well,
I'll take that.
I don't want the
I'll take that, not knowing what the question is going to be.
Maybe Jaran will say, "Oh no, this is not fair with us." But
That's right.
I know, like you say, you need to get your feet wet. But how soon would you be keeping an eye on some of those projects? Because it's important, as you are the regional person, that you are there sitting for the executive, for the president.
At times,
Maybe you've already done it.
No, I have not gone that far yet. Okay. But you'll be surprised. This is why the Gambia is such a small community. And today is the first time I actually joined the president on a visit to an OIC site. And you can tell how much this guy is so much energized and so much informed he is when it comes to OIC projects. And for him to come out today, just, we are talking before, like Eso was talking before the program. And you guys had some things you pointed out before on this OIC project. So you can tell the man is listening, the man is watching, the man is hearing. And if you have that in a leader, you have everything that you need. So we are lucky to have that. But where I come in, today is the first time, like I said, I've actually joined to see them. And then I am hoping that I will do more follow-up. I know that there are certain rules that the governor's office have. And then I'll get that, make sure I don't step on anybody's foot. But if you look at the head of OIC today, the person next to him, the third person next to him, these are all brothers of mine one way or the other. So I already have a ladder to climb on. And I'm sure these people will be more than willing to give me that. Just yesterday, one of my very, very strong team members who I work with, working for the NDMA in my office, was telling me how, I think it was the spokesperson for the OIC, or the deputy governor was telling me, how the spokesperson of the IC was just telling him this morning where they would, or yesterday, how they would want, because I think they've already been involved in certain meetings with them. So yes, we will definitely take them to task, but I think they are up to task. So I'm very, very hopeful.
You just saw. You think they're up to task, not what we had from the president.
The president's thing is not a condemnation of the OIC. We need to get that straight.
No, not the OIC. We're talking about people who are delivering this project. I don't think the president was having an issue.
In every project, you have deliverables.
Yes.
And in every deliverable, you have timelines. So, like I said, I am sure this is why he came on board today, to see what is really going on. So, we will follow suit from him. We will just hear him, and then we'll do what is necessary to make sure we deliver this project. I know you can tell that, with any project that you have, from building your house at home, if a contractor gives you a timeline and then you don't see the deliverable being done on time, you're never happy. So, and that
turns out to be the case.
I wouldn't say that turns out to be the case. Like I said, I am still trying to find out what is actually in those deliverables.
You said you were with the president.
One of those sites he's complained about is in West Coast. The Bruford one as well.
But Bruford people don't need a road. So,
they would come for you.
Governor, the good thing is, a few weeks ago, we sat here and brought the National Road Authority on a different platform, with the Kachadula. And we made it very clear to the world, including the president, I'm sure he watched the program, that nothing is actually been done. That's what I said.
Oh, that's what you said?
That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Hey, when I said nothing is not been done, I'm not saying they've not picked some spakes and stuff.
I would think nothing has been done.
I wasn't impressed about the progress. Because I went to Hakalang, I went to jail, I went to the Costa Road, I went to Bruford, I went quite a lot of places. And I'm in fact going to start charging for some. Maybe I'll charge TV for this. And then we do balance work here. We brought the National Road Authority to sit with us and then tell them what we saw. And again, when I heard the president went out today, I was very happy. And I'm glad that he has seen it for himself what is there. And I think this is what we need.
Yeah, I hope he would also engage some of these contractors who are working within the West Coast. on some of these projects to see how to encourage them, to
Yeah,
expedite the process.
like I said, I have to see what the mandate of the governor's office is on this. I can easily sit here and then say that, but if it is something I might have to step out of bounds, it's going to be out of bounds. So you have to still look at what you could do and what you should do. Then that will let you know what you would do. So I will not just sit here and then say that I will engage them, because I'm sure because that's a project. Definitely there will be project coordinators, there will be contractors, there will definitely be evaluators. So if you have all that in place, it's just a matter of people actually doing what they are supposed to do.
Yeah, we understand that. What I'm saying is to encourage them. Yes.
I think they are encouraged enough because they are paid for what they're supposed to be paid for. So I don't know what more encouragement you need. If the president have to leave, his office to come exactly. The man is so busy, and then he has to leave and then come and see what these people are doing. And like Siri said, because maybe he's seen what the project is supposed to be this far. For me, I was there when he came to Burfoot, and I was actually surprised they even have a paved road, because I don't think they deserve it. But that being said, I'm happy that this thing is going on, and hopefully we will see all these places get delivered.
I think Burfoot is going to have the last laugh, because the governor's office is going to move to Burfoot. Quickly, when you talk about projects and all that in West Coast, recently we just come across I won't call it the idle market, but there's a market in Sukuta called the Women Federation, and we understand this market has been there for few years now. A lot of stores, a lot of canteens, and vast land, but nothing has been done about it. I know probably you need time to go and find out about this, but if you don't know about it, let me tell you, this is there.
You'll be surprised.
Okay.
I have a lot of interest in that particular market.
Okay, good.
And I have actually already engaged a few stakeholders. I was surprised, quote unquote, that is meant for the women. It was just a market for everybody. But nonetheless, I heard of certain stories behind it. I don't buy into any of that. But I see this, I see a potential here. And one of the things that I told one of the stakeholders in this women group is, why don't you just let me put a Sunday market there?
Wonderful. Start doing something.
Start doing something. Give it to me for Sundays. And then I'm not going to give a stall to anybody permanently. You come on Sunday, you pay for a space, and then we go there, you see that big land at the front. Put something there that the kids on Sundays, when a family come, you can have your kids play around whilst the person goes around shopping. Because we have a big garden, we have women going around, they would have a place. Sunday, the place is so dull. You'll see people leaving Burfoot to come there to shop on Sundays. So
for a start, because I think I heard there is this whatever.
Yes, but
they associate with it. So you're talking about it to break the ice, start using it,
exactly,
and people will be confident, come in there, and eventually it will become a proper market.
Yes,
I think something needs to be done with that.
Something needs to be done. I'm surprised you guys have you seen the place?
In fact, yesterday we had it on this morning.
Okay.
We have had some pictures of it, some videos. We had Loli Kamara was there, and the unfortunate thing, the chief was interviewed in Sukuta, and then he said he had, he did some findings, but cannot get to the bottom of it.
Okay. I'm also at that finding place, but I have already started with even the Chamber of Commerce, who they've been strong advocates for women. And they have even a women wing. So, I think we have a starting point. Good. Because the place is huge. There is a lot one can do.
I think it's good news that this market will start being used. Time is up. Honorable Governor, your final word, please.
Thank you. I'm just grateful that I have this opportunity to sit with you guys for a whole hour. I wish it was just only SO and not you. But nonetheless, these conversations need to continue. And then this is where we all come to play. You guys have a role to play. We have a role to play. And to be able to bring these ideas out there. Because I can tell you, if you, like you just stated a few minutes ago, if you look at having what you guys did, you said for this OIC project, and having the president, going there, it tells you how much attentive this guy is into details. So I think whatever you guys are doing here, do not underestimate the impact that it could have on all of us.
Thank you.
So I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Governor. Thank you. So,
you.
I mean, let's make this clear. It is our unusual program. This was very sociable. It was a laughter. It was fun.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, because it's the first governor to come, and then
I think we have to
next
commend
time
him
you
for that
come,
as well.
we'll squeeze him over.
The next time I'll create an excuse not to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And this program is repeated every Sunday at 10 p.m.
Thank you.
Or 10 a.m. Sorry. Thanks so much.